Hi, welcome to a presentation on AI Android Peril Exploration and Avengers 2 vehicle. This is version 1.002. Uh, it will be up, uh, updating every couple months. This is a bonsai upgraded software presentation, and we're going to explore these sections right here. For the introduction section, I would argue that AI is a more challenging problem than climate change because it's closer, it's more polarizing, and it's easier to see what you want to see. This is a hotly debated issue. Uh, this is a politically charged issue, numerous points of view, so this presentation will take a slightly pessimistic approach, a less controversial approach, and really try to just solve a hard problem and not get sort of entangled in, uh, yeah. So, um, uh, Avengers Ultron could be a vehicle to study AI peril. Um, when you look at something, when you try to think about an abstract issue, uh, sometimes it helps to have an object there for you to contemplate. You can view it several times via different angles, and you can talk about it rather than talk about nothing. So it is an Avengers Ultron is a nice vehicle because it is built on layers. Brainiac was first published in 1958. Ultron was published in 1968, and Avengers, and it's through multitude of producer resonance um, aspects that Avengers 2 is built on. So it is through the accumulated sort of discussion and wisdom of sort of 50 years of work that Avengers 2 was built on. So, uh, and it is all it is it is also a movie, so that its 2-hour lens is open to all. Uh, it highlights uh, Avengers Ultron is very nicely structured and highlights a number of important topics relevant to the AI peril discussion. So related to this, we'll deep dive into the movie, deep dive into the interesting sort of conversation that the comic book authors had, and deep dive into nonfiction text science, and deep dive into other literature. But I will try to bonsai it relentlessly to keep it relevant. Uh, so one of the concerns of AI is that it's we're undergoing a period of great acceleration, but AI operates in milliseconds and probably less. I'm not sure, but its acceleration curve is far steeper than our curve. So it's it, it, it's a large concern. Um, so one of the interesting things is that AI slash Android. AI is and how it's perceived in our culture. Um, AI is in the net. Android is entirely in the body. So Skynet versus data. Can we design an Android to only? Can we sort of limit the AI's capacity, uh, or can we persuade itself to limit their own capacity? So now we'll try to analyze some elements in the movie. Uh, the villain of Ultron succeeded. Um, it's a mirror of the hero. Uh, so uh, Ultron is very angry. Um, so this is a quote by Joss Whedon. Uh, I think he's been angry for so long, he might be a little unhinged. He's angry and in pain. The acting, uh, standout performance by Ultron, and nice performance by Tony Stark. Uh, it needed more room to for Captain America, in my opinion, but it's already a very complex uh, movie, and I guess the addition of this is too hard to integrate into the movie. So the climax of the movie is this: Ultron raises a meteor into the sky and drops it down to Earth. Um, and and this this is what this could be analyzed via various dimensions, but um, uh, it can be analyzed historically, like Napoleon and Caesar. Um, so one of the historical analyses is this is a this is a diary entry from one of Napoleon's trusted aides de camp. Um, General, you're taking this was in the consulate, I think. Uh, General, you're taking too many portions with your meal. Ha! Already the corruption of power. Napoleon was very much aware of the corruption of power, but he held an annual celebration for Washington, but he was swept away by the entire thing. And one of the questions that we have to ask is that, will the AI be swept away by the X2X2, you know, because it will rise far more faster than we have risen recently. Um, so, so, how can we deal with this dynamic? Um, did Ultron fall due to too much power concentrated? Uh, why didn't Vision fall? Was it because of his naivete, or why? Uh, so, are we? Is technology bringing us to this dynamic? Uh, so, is this too much for us? Uh, and madness. So, Joss Whedon interpreted Ultron as not, totally mad. So he might be joking here, but I'm not sure. so, uh, so his, I, I guess he might be joking, but uh, you know, one of the reasons why Ultron worked as a villain is that, um, I guess we can relate to his madness. Um, so other reviews, uh, Ultron. So so this might be, one of our possibilities. And also, uh, also there is a lot of storytelling to tell, and Jaws barely kept it together. One of the interesting things is that we might ho- uh, hopefully get another cut of the movie. Parallel from Weldon's other works, if you watch Office Objects in Space, uh, episode 14, there's also an effective villain who's understandably in pain and angry. So, Mirror Image in River needed to defeat early. Similar mirror image of Vision needed to defeat Ultron. Other literature, Frankenstein is the source literature, Faust, robotic freedom. In this dynamic is that uh, how much freedom should we allow the AI who's undergoing this uh, acceleration uh, X4 dynamic. In in the real world, this section will explore some real world scenarios. Uh, in my uneducated opinion, uh, if nothing major happens, we're on trajectory to develop a human intelligence level AI in the next 20 to 50 years. Several walls have already been broken. Only a couple of more breakthroughs is needed. Uh, the development trajectory, almost everybody's working on this, and there's a large demand. So, uh, once we get past the initial AI threshold, since AI operates in milliseconds, once we cross this threshold, it will undergo another totally different curve of acceleration um, in terms of its own knowledge and scientific development and etc. etc. Um, and some of the sort of technological breakthroughs is that quantum computing and other large sort of technologies designed to get us back on the Moore's law and network computing, uh, virtualization technologies that sort of pulls together a lot of computational technologies in one entity. Um, so, uh, so one entity possibly can access all of the, uh, you know, a whole building's worth of data center servers can be accessed via one entity, and sensory technologies. If you go to this YouTube page, you can see a robotic hand solving a Rubik's Cube, uh, and this is done with current technologies. So, and the Neuralink Elon company that sort of aims to link our mind to the computer. Um, so so uh, possible. So most probably this this is a ballpark estimate, but it could be less. I mean, uh, a lot of the components are there. So possible scenarios are: one, will a new AI android be initiated to human level intelligence? Would it be developed through accident, like a glitch somewhere, and it, like Ultron did? Or would it be developed through planning? Uh, uh, or in a bad scenario, in a war where the military felt pressure to develop this technology. So, uh, also, what AI versus AI combat would look like. Uh, will we, once a human level AI is initiated, will we ever be able to sort of defeat that AI? Some of the scenarios, it could, launch a satellite into space, or bury some data under the earth and designed to be released back to Earth, in 50 years or so. And so, what would conflict between AI be? AI versus AI. Would it delete the opponent, or would it absorb and create this new other monstrous entity merged together? So some of these are all possibilities, but if we sort of analyze them and make some hard decisions about them, uh, there is a possibility that we can navigate through this very challenging problem. Uh, so this presentation is released to the public domain, uh, and it would be nice if we sort of invite discussion about this topic. Uh, I invite you to participate. It only takes 10 minutes to download OBS and start your own presentation about this topic. And and I'm interested in your take on the movie and the situation. Uh, Thank you for watching, and have a good day.